This in no way meant patriotism and love of America as a country. Actually, let's play a game. I'm gonna tell you all the real symbolic cultural moments as a Boricua, including what this one was about, and I want you to tell me in the comments how many you got right. Now let's begin where it all started. We see the Jibaro, the traditional Puerto Rican countryman with the pava, the straw hat, saying,
Qué rico es el latino. Hoy se ve!
and interestingly enough, he starts by setting the precedent that all of this is going to be in Spanish because he says Benito Antonio Martínez Ocasio, his full government name, presents el espectáculo de medio tiempo del Super Tazón, the spectacle of the halftime of the Super Bowl, all in Spanish. And if you look at the backdrop, you will see the sugarcane plantations, which in Puerto Rico were the backbone of the island's colonial economy, heavily dependent on enslaved African labor, particularly during the 19th century sugar boom. In the very next frames, we see Bad Bunny turned around before he reveals himself, and he's wearing a 64 on his football jersey. 64 was the number the Trump administration gave out as the number of people who died after Hurricane Maria, but the actual death toll by that time was actually 1,052. Then we see Bad Bunny walk around the sugarcane plantation, showing us very historical and cultural markers of Puerto Rican culture, like for example, the coconut stand, which historically, coconuts provided subsistence for Puerto Rican workers and were considered a vital tree of life for supplying water, food, and oil. The abundance of coconut palms allowed them to become a staple for local businesses. Roadside coconut vendors became a staple of Puerto Rican culture, particularly in coastal areas offering fresh, chilled coconuts with the tops cut off. Then he walks by the table of father, uncles, and grandfathers playing dominoes, which in Puerto Rico, dominoes, or el dominó, is more than just a game. It is a cherished cultural staple, social ritual, and symbol of community that bridges generations together through strategy and storytelling. He then walks by badass Puerto Rican women doing construction, which represents badass Puerto Rican women who shouldn't be underestimated because they also do manual labor, like construction, very subversive to the patriarchy. Then he walks by a piragua cart. Now, piraguas are more than just a shaved ice dessert in Puerto Rico. They're actually a cultural icon, a symbol of nostalgia and a staple of island life. Brought to places like New York City during the Great Migration in the 1940s, piraguas symbolized the adaptability and endurance of Puerto Rican culture in new environments. But then we see him walk by a taco cart, but not just any taco cart. This is an actual taco cart in California called the Villas Taco Cart. The business owner, Victor, who started the business out of his grandmother's home kitchen 8 years ago, now has 3 locations around California. And this shows Bad Bunny has a commitment to supporting local small businesses over big corporations. After he visits the taco cart, we do see him ducking under boxers as he continues singing. Often considered one of the best boxing nations pound for pound, Puerto Rico has produced over a dozen Hall of Fame inductees, and in 2004, it became the first territory to have champions in all 17 traditional weight divisions. Boxing is deeply ingrained in society, and it serves as a pathway for and reflection of the island's warrior spirit. Then we see the famous casita that we were introduced to at the residency in Puerto Rico. It serves as a cultural anchor representing home, community, and the Marquesina party culture. The Marquesina is an open-air garage where people meet, greet, and talk for hours all day. And yes, Black Afro-Puerto Rican representation was brought to the forefront at the casita because Black Puerto Ricans very much exist, take up space, and are family, no matter how much white supremacy doesn't like the fucking idea. And the same goes for queer and gay representation. We exist, live, laugh, and our gay joy is also resistance and revolutionary. But then to the melody of Monaco, he tells us that he made it to Super Bowl 60 because he believed in himself. And then he reminds you, believe in yourself, because you will be able to achieve everything you want in life if you do so. From there, we go to the actual wedding that was real and officiated at the Super Bowl, which is iconic in and within itself, but is really about family and community and love. And then we reveal that Lady Gaga's in the motherfucking building, and not only in the building, but killed it. But this was also a culturally significant moment. Gaga is wearing a light blue dress, which is the correct kind of blue that goes onto the original Puerto Rican flag that people in Puerto Rico were killed and imprisoned for flying after the US passed La Ley de Mordaza, or the gag law of 1948. That light blue represents sovereignty and resistance. The current dark blue flag is supposed to resemble the blue on the American flag in support of furthering the aims of colonization supporting statehood. Gaga also accented her gown with a custom Flor de Maga corsage, official flower of Puerto Rico. After that, Bad Bunny falls back off of the building as a trust fall to signify the bond of trust built on community and familial support that is so integral in Puerto Rican culture, as opposed to the American culture, which is toxically about rugged individualism. He's falling onto his people because he knows they will catch him, because we're all we have, and we are each other's safety net. And yes, that Puerto Rican community is built in and around the bodegas, the mini marts, the mom and pop restaurants, and the Puerto Rican barbershops and salons. At one point, he even gets a shot of coconut rum from a woman named Toñita, who he also has in his music. This is the actual Toñita, who is the owner of Brooklyn's Caribbean Social Club, one of the last surviving Puerto Rican social clubs in the city, and she is an iconic figure in New York, and there is a celebration in her honor every June 22nd. After that, Bad Bunny goes and gives his little boy self-representation, his grown-up self, Album of the Year Grammy, and tells himself to always believe in himself, showing little Puerto Rican boys and Latino boys all around the diaspora that they should believe in themselves because they will go to extreme heights. Then he has a jibaro playing the cuatro, introducing Ricky Martin singing Lo que le pasó a Hawaii from his DTMF album. This instrument, the cuatro, originated in 16th century with the jibaros, and it is primarily used in música jíbara, evoking traditional country life. It is a symbol of Puerto Rican soul, resilience, and identity, often used in folk music and increasingly in modern genres. And then you tie the history of that instrument to Ricky Martin singing Lo que pasó a Hawaii, which is Bad Bunny's song, warning that he doesn't want the US to do to Puerto Rico what they did to Hawaii. The song serves as a political anthem and warning to Puerto Rico, comparing the two islands' shared experiences of colonization, displacement, rampant gentrification, and over-tourism. And he's singing in the scene of Bad Bunny's album cover, which already represents the story of how Puerto Ricans get in community with each other, sitting outside in the famous plastic white chairs, except on the album cover, they're empty. Just like this chair is, because of gentrification and that displacement. And it's actually poetic that Ricky Martin is then interrupted his singing by exploding light posts behind him, with jibaros trying to fix them. Given the fact that Puerto Rico has a continually failing electric grid because the corrupt pro-statehood politicians do nothing about it. And it's interesting that you see the jibaros, the country folk, the common men and women are the ones trying to fix the problems themselves, with no help or support from a governmental system. But Bad Bunny doesn't just stay on the ground singing to the camera his song El Apagón, which is really about the consistent blackouts that plague Puerto Rico. Because him on the ground having the Puerto Rican flag and singing directly to the camera demonstrates his world-facing advocacy and him using his platform to bring attention to the issue. But there's a point where he puts the flag down and climbs to the top of the light post himself to demonstrate his commitment to our people. He's saying, I will be in the trenches fixing this and in any one of our problems because we do this together. Community is central to this theme. But then we get to where we started. Bad Bunny looks at the football and he said, God bless America.
God bless America.
And people who know English specifically heard that and said, yes, he's being nationalistic and patriotic because he is American. Yes, stick it to the man. You're Puerto Rican. You're a citizen. But then they didn't hear the part right after that. Because right after he said, God bless America, he said a Spanish word, sea.
God bless America. Sea Chile, Argentina.
Sea is a Spanish word that means be it. So when he said, God bless America, sea, and then lists all the countries located in the continents of the Americas, plural, what he's saying is that when we talk about America, we have to decenter the United States. He begins by listing countries geographically under the equator to the top, from the continent of South America, stops at Mexico, shifts to the Caribbean, then all the way to the top of North America with US and then Canada, framing the Americas in a way that has never been done before in a very subversive and revolutionary way, and then ends by centering Puerto Rico. So what he's saying is that together we are America, including all of the countries historically marginalized and neglected. It was a fuck you to the United States.